I've been keeping track of every single game that I played, all for this moment. I just wanted to have a tier list. Let me move this chat somewhere. We gotta find a good place for the chat. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what to like. Y'all can't be here. Y'all can't be in my face. I gotta find a good place for the chat. I don't know where to put the chat yet. Maybe there. Let's just see how we feel about that a little later. Nowhere near close. Everybody's back to 0 actually. I reset everything. But so I played 3, 6, 9, 12. What's after 12? 15, 18, 20. I played 20 games this year. My goal this year was to really like diversify a little more than I used to. I usually just play shooter games, first person or third person shooters. And I think we accomplished that. We got a pretty good mix of games in here. So we're going to keep this quick. I'd love to hear y'all's opinion on where you think these games should go if you've played them. Even if you haven't played them, sure, throw out an ignorant opinion. I don't care. Do what you do. Do you, boo boo. Do you. So yeah, I got notes. But instead of ranking this A B C D or S A B C D, I don't play bad games. I don't know about y'all, but I don't finish bad games. Every game that I finish, I think is kind of good. So it's hard for me to have like a legitimate tier list with a bunch of C's in it. I only play games that I think are fun. Tarsky is trying to set himself up to say him first. So, all these games I think are good. I've divided them into a personal favorite, I loved it, I liked it, or just once was enough. You know those games where like it's like a 6 out of once is enough is like a 6 out of 10. You know, you just really don't need to revisit it at all, right? Here's what we'll do. We're gonna give everybody some points because I probably didn't think things out as well as I could have. So just for being here, y'all get 10,000. Y'all should be able to heist and all that good stuff. Hey, thanks for subbing, Tarsky. I appreciate the sub. No, this is Seuss. That's not Tarsky. This is Seuss. Seuss, what's going on, brother? Thanks for the follow. I enjoyed listening to y'all play D&D, even though it's not something I would ever actually do. But I think y'all have just crazy cool imaginations. So it was cool to see that. It's cool to see that. And you know how it is. We can't talk to broke boys. So we had to make you rich. All right. So first one. Detention. Detention was a Chinese point and click horror game.
I do not fear this new challenge. Rather, like a true warrior, I will rise to meet it.
Seuss, thank you so much for the Prime sub. I appreciate it. Always love to hear Vegeta in my ears. And hey, yeah, thank you for choosing me to have your Prime sub. Means a lot. I said I enjoyed watching y'all play listening to y'all play Dungeons and Dragons. It's not something that I would ever do, but I think y'all have amazing imaginations and y'all are just so creative, and you're a good dungeon master. So yeah, I enjoyed that evening listening to y'all. So Detention, it was a very unique experience. It might not be for everyone. It was just a solid 2D horror story paced really well. You could beat it in one sitting. I broke it down into 2 sittings. It took me about 5 hours. It was fun. I think we're gonna put that in the liked it category. Now, Fears to Fathom, if you don't know what Fears to Fathom is an episodic horror game that is being made by one person named Rael. I think it's Rael, Rayll. The first chapter is called Home Alone. Home Alone scared the pants off of me. The second chapter was called Norwood Hitchhike. And you can see his development skills growing as he makes these games. So it's just I know the third episode, I'm making time. Monday comes out on Monday, January 9th. So we're gonna be streaming Fears to Fathom episode 3 on Monday, January 9th. I can't wait for it. But Norwood Hitchhike was a lot of fun. He expanded on his capabilities even more in that one. It was just a solid horror game. I can't call it a favorite, but I definitely loved it, and I'd watch people play it over and over again. Now, Halo Infinite had kind of a lot of hype. Man, it had everything going for it, and it suffers from a lack of content. Like, there's just not enough maps in the multiplayer. Story was decent. I think it's a liked it. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. I wish there was more there, but I think it's a liked it. I think it definitely itched the Halo nostalgia that a lot of us have been missing ever since Halo 3, but could have been better. I'm hoping they release more content for it, find a way to bring players back to it, because it had a lot of potential. Now, Hitman 3, I wasn't crazy about the story, but you don't play Hitman games for the story. You play Hitman games because the gameplay is top notch, right? I think if you've never played Hitman, it's comparable to the same way in Elden Ring, no two people had the exact same playthrough. Hitman does that on a much smaller scale with much easier game mechanics. You could just really get creative and do whatever you want in Hitman 3, and it's amazing. Uh-oh.
Because my soldiers do not
Subs have been gifted. How many subs got gifted? Rose, what are you doing, girl? What are you doing, girl? Thank you so much for gifting a tier 1 sub to Word. I appreciate you. I really do. I wish I had like better words to tell you how much I appreciate it, but since I don't, I will just quote SpongeBob for you. You do care. Thank you so much. And we're close to a hype train. That's cool. Yeah, if you got bits, if you got subs, now would be a perfect time to do it. Let's get to that hype train, y'all. Hype train. But anyways, Hitman 3, I'd give it a like. I liked it. Now we're getting to I'm on observation duty 5. I think I'm the most surprised that I actually enjoyed this game. This is so far outside of the realm of a game that I would normally play.
When one's heart is overfilled with joy,
hey,
some
thanks
may
for the bits.
spill from the eyes.
Some may spill from the eye. Thanks for the bits, Word. Hey, you a real one. I appreciate it. Is that an O? Is that an O? Oh, I'm digging the bits wall. The cheer wall. Thank you so much, Word. I appreciate it. I only cry twice a year, and I'm saving cries from this year for when I have a kid, so I can have 3 cries. One of them will be the birth of a child, and then the next, you know, toxic masculinity and all that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm on observation duty 5 was like just so far outside of the realm of something I would normally play, and it's a really good game. It's just a simple spot the difference horror game, but it's suspenseful. I don't know what it is about it that's suspenseful. Riri wants some more treats, clearly. Hey, Riri, you want to come on. Come on. Come on. Is that attention you ordered, girl? You can't just come in here and boss around treats. She's got an attitude problem, and it's because I let her get away with it. I let her get away with it. It's because I love her though. No more treats for now, okay? Somebody's gotta redeem treats. All right. Yeah, I think I'm on observation duty 5. It's definitely in the personal favorite. How many rollover cries are you allowed? You know, it's kind of like T-Mobile's rollover minutes. There's no cap. There's no cap at all. It just kind of keeps going and going and going and going and going. I think I cried once this year. I don't remember over what it was. So I definitely got one rollover cry left. Now It Takes Two. It Takes Two is super fun. It's constantly changing things up. You get a variety of gameplay. You get some nice creative environments. I think it overstayed its welcome just a little bit. Like there's some sections that could have been a little bit shorter. But hey, it's a game that's designed to be played with your friends or your significant other. I think it's about 8 hours long, 8 to 10 hours long. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. But I'm gonna put it in the loved it category. Now, talk about a game, Kenna Bridge of Spirits. Talk about a game I really wanted to like. Kenna Bridge of Spirits just did not do anything for me. I didn't finish it, but I know there's at least a polished game with some interesting mechanics under there, which is why I wanted to keep it on the list. Like, I don't want to totally diss the game. See, that's part of the problem that I have with the gaming community right now. A lot of people be talking really reckless about games as if someone's livelihood isn't tied to this product that they put out. Kenna Bridge of Spirits just wasn't for me. I tried to get into the story, but I didn't really get it. I played the game for like 4 hours and I didn't really know what I was doing. Like it was never clear about what was happening. So Kenna Bridge of Spirits, if you like a lightweight Souls-like game, I'd recommend it, but once was enough for me. Now Kirby Forgotten Dreamland was really good. If you like cozy games, if you're just looking for something to get comfortable with, you know, getting your snuggie and wrap the blanket over your head. My grandma made me this blanket. I use it all the time. Wrap the blanket over your head. Not be challenged too much. Just have some good old PG fun. Kirby Forgotten Dreamland. I absolutely recommend it. But once was enough for me. I didn't think there was any replay value. There were some bonus levels and stuff, but yeah, once was enough for me. Luigi's Mansion 3. I really wanted to love Luigi's Mansion 3, but I just didn't. There was something about it that just never stuck for me. So yeah, Luigi's Mansion 3, once was enough for me. Now, there was another Kirby game that I played this year, but you have next week off. I'm glad you have next week off. Make sure you enjoy that time off. Listen, if y'all don't use your PTO, use your PTO. Hey, your job won't miss you that much. just enjoy that time off, y'all. There was another Kirby game that came out that I absolutely like hated. I don't even remember what it was called. Like it was a Kirby game that you were supposed to play with like a group of 4 friends. I didn't enjoy it. So once was enough for that one. But we're not gonna trash Kirby too much because I generally do like Kirby. Just that one Kirby game. was not doing it for me. Oxide Room 102. So if you're into horror games, Oxide Room 102 is a room escape puzzle game set in a motel that you just got to figure out how to get out of. The mechanic in and of itself is really cool because depending on which motel rooms you go into, give you keys to different motel rooms. So there's somewhat of a branching narrative in the amount of rooms you'll actually have to escape. I'd say it was fun. It was made by like a group of 3 people. It was like a 5-hour game, so there's a good amount of content in it. I liked it, but once was definitely enough. Once was definitely enough. I'd recommend it if you're just looking for some spooky to play, but there's other games you could be playing that are probably a little bit better. But it was an impressive endeavor. They even had voice acting. Now, Pokemon Sword. Pokemon Sword is the first Pokemon game that I've actually finished in a really long time. And I enjoyed it. I don't have much to say about it other than I enjoyed it. It adds some flair to the old Pokemon recipe. I loved how each gym leader kind of oozed their own style. Love to see the melanin at the water gym. The music was amazing. I think the story adds a little bit of meaningful lore to the world of Pokemon, but aside from that, it was a Pokemon game. So I don't know who's out here like replaying Pokemon games, but I liked it. Put it in the like category. So back in April, Easter weekend, I had to have my appendix removed, which forced me to sit down and actually play my PS5 because there wasn't too many games out on the PS5. One of the games that I got to play while I was down and out was Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It is a nice peek at what the next gen consoles are able to do because of the Rift mechanic. The Rift mechanic literally loads you into different levels in seconds. It is it's an amazing feat of technology. Never thought we'd see the day, but I'm happy about it. Like it wasn't a waste of time. It wasn't a waste of time. So I would recommend it. Trying to think, like you got on the PS5, you got God of War, you got Last of Us 2. I don't know what other PS5 console exclusives there are, but I'd recommend Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I'd give it a liked it. I liked it, but once was also enough. But we're gonna put it in the liked category. Now, Resident Evil 3. If you've been on this channel for any amount of time, you know that I love Resident Evil games. Resident Evil 3 was one of the ones that I had never played before. I had never played the original, so I was excited to see what Resident Evil 3 brought to the table. There was some great graphics, some great gunplay. The environment was really pretty, but I felt like it went too action heavy. Inventory management, I never really got a challenge out of that. Ammo was in abundance for the most part. Basically, a lot of the things that make a Resident Evil game did not exist in this game. Nemesis wasn't an interesting stalker, and I felt like his boss fights kind of fell flat every time, and it felt very scripted. And after like the 4th time, you know, it's kind of just it kind of is what it is. So surprisingly, Resident Evil 3 gets once was enough. I don't need to play that game ever again. But keeping in line with the Resident Evils, we got Resident Evil Village DLC, Shadows of Rose. Shadows of Rose. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? going on, hedge funds? Manager Mo? Imagine doing your hair with an Akasaki do-rag. I wish I could imagine, because I'm actually bald. I don't got anything to say. I don't got anything to say. But anyways, Resident Evil 8 Shadows of Rose, it details Rose getting to know her past. Now, Rose is Ethan's daughter. The entire game in Resident Evil 8 is spent trying to save Rose when she's a baby. In this DLC, Rose is a teenage girl with some sort of power, and she's trying to understand them. I didn't like it. Straight up, I just didn't like it. I thought it could have been significantly better, and it wasn't. It wasn't for me. Once was enough there. Now, Sifu. I'm not into Souls-likes, but Sifu was absolutely amazing. Sifu was the one that got me really into Soulsborne games. The combat was amazing. The aesthetic, the style is great. I spent literally 5 months trying to finish the game under the age 20. And when I did it, it was the most satisfying and fulfilling feeling that I've like ever had. Like I was on a high, man. like I was coasting when I finally got good enough to beat that game with a low enough age. So Sifu, surprisingly, makes it to one of my personal favorites. That's not the typical style of game that I play, and it was great. Telling Lies was an interesting one. It's an FMV game. You basically play as a detective trying to piece together the story of something that's happened to a group of people. What makes me most excited about Telling Lies is the game mechanic itself. It felt new. It felt like some unexplored territory. I'd recommend it if you just like obscure games. Like it's just it's a different game. It's a different kind of game. But once was enough for me. There's well over 6 hours of video content that you can scrub through and piece together the various storylines in that game. But it was there's a good chance that a lot of y'all will like it. You can get it on Xbox Game Pass, but once was enough for me. Now, TMNT Shredder's Revenge. This game was a nice little surprise. It was fun. Nails nostalgia just right, but I don't think there was enough depth. It wasn't like a super challenging game. It was really short, but it's perfect for groups, right? So I loved it, and I would recommend that everybody play it. Like it's cheap and it's a good time. Tunic, I haven't finished yet, but I've played enough of it to know what I think about it. Tunic is an adorable little Zelda-like, and the world that Tunic takes place in just unfolds so cleanly, so pleasantly. I'd recommend it to almost anybody. If you're into Zelda games, I would absolutely recommend that you play this game. It's fun. It's a good time. I think I loved Tunic. I'm gonna go back and finish it. I just got stuck on one boss fight. The one criticism that I have for Tunic is just it's so good and so fun until you run into a boss fight. The boss fights are like disproportionately hard compared to the game, and when you beat a boss, I don't feel that fulfilled when I beat the boss. But just watching the world unfold as you learn the language and learn all the secrets of the game, yeah, I definitely say I loved it. And XCOM Chimera Squad. XCOM 2 was so good. I couldn't imagine having to put together a sequel to XCOM 2 that would be equally as good, right? And I think to kind of avoid the XCOM 2 comparisons, Chimera Squad adds the timeline mechanic, which is interesting, but it makes the gameplay feel much less robust and random, in my opinion. And that's like one of the major strengths of XCOM 2 is you never know what's coming next in XCOM 2. So I think Chimera Squad falls short in a lot of ways. I remember talking to Dport about it, and he pointed out that like when you're not doing a mission in Chimera Squad, it just doesn't feel like XCOM at all. All the stuff outside of missions feels very tedious in Chimera Squad, whereas in XCOM 2, all that resource management feels very enjoyable. So the timeline mechanic was interesting, but I think it fell short of my expectations and a lot of other people's expectations. So Chimera Squad gets put in the once was enough. Now, if I had to recommend to the average person 3 games from this list of games that I played this year, I am picking definitely Sifu, definitely It Takes Two, and the third one is a hard pick. It's kind of a toss-up between Observation Duty, Fears to Fathom, and Tunic. Depends on what you like. If you're into horror games, Observation Duty and Fears to Fathom are both great choices. But if you want more of an adventure game, Tunic is great. So that's it. That's the tier list. Thank you so much for a great year of playing games. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's time to get into some games though.